Hi everybody, this is Joshua Kirk back with you guys once again on YouTube, and I'm gonna take a little break from doing album reviews for a little bit. I've been taking a lot of long breaks from album reviews lately, mostly because I just like to do album reviews whenever I feel like it. Like, I don't really do it for money, and I don't really force myself to do it every day, just, since I'm such, a thoughtful music reviewer, and since perfectionists need to take their time quite a bit. I have taken some long breaks in between reviews, just listening to so many albums and, kept, trying to review those, but apparently there were mistakes, so I'm pretty proud of myself now that I finally accomplished getting a review I wanted on YouTube with my reviews on the Foo Fighters 1997 album, The Color and the Shape. But aside from breaks from album reviews, I'm going to be taking a break mostly because I'm going to do something on YouTube that I haven't technically done on YouTube yet, but I specifically wanted to do for you guys, the viewer. Because this is a concert that was one of the most memorable experiences that I think I've had all summer, in my opinion. And it's the fact that I went to go see my favorite band, like my new favorite band, the first time I've really had a true new favorite band, Dr. Dog, a band from Philadelphia, some West Philly rockers that have been providing us with awesome music since 1999, before I was even born. So Dr. Dog has, become my latest obsession, and I like a lot of other bands, but I will admit Dr. Dog is a band that I'm totally partial to. So that's why I sort of consider them my favorite, and it's probably never going to change. And, so I went to go see him on July 27th at the Exponential Festival in Camden, New Jersey, which took place at the Susquehanna Bank Center, along in some other area I don't remember the name of. So the Susquehanna Bank Center is like this, arena that, where a lot of, really popular bands play, along with a few hidden bands that may not be as popular, but yet never fail to take the stage and get a captivated audience. Dr. Dog is definitely going to have a lot of exposure this fall, because they'll be on tour with another great folk rock band that's from Denver, Colorado, I believe, called the Lumineers. So Dr. Dog was opening for the Lumineers, and I'm here to review Dr. Dog's full set and a little bit of the Lumineers set, since I promised my parents I would stick around for that, so here we go. Dr. Dog is definitely one of those bands that you instantly just, when you dig a lot deeper into their music, look up all their music, and then, see photos and live performances of them on YouTube, for example, you'll sort of see how fun of a live band they can be and how you might be dying to go see them. In fact, I felt that way, so, I just kept looking at different live performances, and, people, lots of fans meeting the band, and instantly I knew right away that I wanted to do both things, so my parents and I tried to work something out, so we bought the tickets, and, I've been anticipating this all summer, so there was no way that I could not talk about this concert on camera. So this is dedicated to all members of Dr. Dog: Toby, Scott, Frank, Zach, Eric, and Dimitri. Dr. Dog consists of those 6 guys right now. They've had constant changes with the lineup over the years. They used to have Ted Mark as their drummer, and Dougal Donnell as their guitar player, as their rhythm guitarist, and then they got replaced by Justin Stenz on drums and Andrew Jones on rhythm guitar. Andrew soon left the band and was replaced by Frank, and then after about 10 years as a member in the band, Justin Stenz, left Dr. Dog and then like went on to do some other band I don't remember the name of, and then got replaced by Eric Slick, who has played drums in a bunch of other bands, so I'm pretty sure all of you pretty much know who Eric Slick is, if you've heard some of his other bands he's been in, besides Dr. Dog, and along with percussionist and electronic player and jack of all trades sort of member, Dimitri Manos, and he wasn't really an entirely new member to the band. In fact, he played with them on Easy Beat. He played drums on one song on that album called Dutchman Falls. And then after Justin left the band after the recording of Shame Shame, Dimitri filled in for Justin on drums during the fall 2009 tour before the album, before Eric Slick was a member of the group. So the lineup definitely, I will admit that Dr. Dog seems to say a lot nowadays with this new lineup with Eric and Dimitri in the band, with this whole new drum sound and a lot more sound effects and, you know, just lots more, you know, wacky stuff to be found. And Dr. Dog is always, I love how they've sort of evolved here and there. Like, they started out as just a dishwasher, 4 tracks late at night sort of band with a toothbrush and stuff like that. But then My Morning Jacket took them on their tour, on their first tour in 2003 or 4, I believe, as Scott claims. And they did more of a live sound. In fact, they used an 8-track for Easy Beat. As their career went on, they just kept evolving here and there, you know, getting a lot more polished with the production. But yet I don't look at it as a bad thing. It's not like mainstream, poppy, non-risky type of polished. It's more of a polished and sort of a just clear recording quality, no buzzing in the background of the recording. In fact, I will admit, Toothbrush is a great album. The tracks on it are great, but I think it's a little more mellow. So far, the only flaw I have with it is that I feel like there's a lot of buzzing in the recording. So, you know, if it were recorded right now and present, it would have a more natural feel to it, I guess I would say. So I think Dr. Dog just is one of those bands. They just get better and better with age because they keep, you know, just using all kinds of styles and just doing something that I think a lot of fans would really respect. Like, I'm definitely a fan who can respect just about anything they do, from Toothbrush all the way up to Be the Void. I'm really excited to get their new album, Be Room, which comes out on October 1st. The first track on it, released on July 22nd, 2013, The Truth. That song I've been totally addicted to. I mean, just has a nice groove to it, and there's some cool instrument that I don't know the name of at the end of the song. Sounds to me like some strange string instrument or some string instrument or horn instrument, whatever it might be at the end. And, you know, just has, you know, some very just passionate and, you know, very soulful vocals. In fact, a lot of critics said that song sounds a lot like Philly Legends, Gamble and Huff, and I sort of agree with them. It sort of has a similar sound to that, but yet Dr. Dog has their own flavor too. It's sort of like, sort of a 70s soul with a little punk rock edge to it. So, I met the guys from Dr. Dog, which was, you know, a great experience. I was really excited to meet the band. In fact, you know, I had a lot of, you know, physical, you know, excitement in myself due to this, like, not just mental excitement, but, like, physical excitement I had about meeting the guys and seeing them live and seeing a little bit of the Lumineers, because I knew I couldn't miss it, because they're a great band too. Um, so, um, so both bands, along with another band that I didn't get to see, called Polika, they were literally like on this front porch that's like in the very back of the venue, and the guys they were so interested in me, especially one of the guys that sings and writes in the band, one of the guitar players in the group, Scott McMicken. I love Toby, and I love the other members in the band. Like, I think they're all great and super talented, but I will admit Scott McMicken is probably my favorite member of the band at the moment. I'm totally partial to him. I mean, he's got the cool look, like sunglasses, hat on, long hair. So he was totally interested in me, so I just kept talking to him for like an hour about like Neil Young and My Morning Jacket and Wilco and some of the sounds of Dr. Dog's work. Speaking of My Morning Jacket and Wilco, I saw both of them at Merriweather Post Pavilion on July 23rd, and they rocked it. I was definitely there for Jacket for sure, because one of my concert wishes was to see My Morning Jacket, as I told my mom. So when I found out they were playing at Merriweather and that it was all ages and that we were able to go, I literally just freaked out, because I'm a huge fan of their music. My Morning Jacket's definitely one of the best live bands that I think there is in the country, in my opinion. Like, if not the best live band around. There's definitely a lot of people there for Jacket, so there was another row behind me that, was dancing, was singing, and, rooting for the band. So I, instantly shouted that, thinking they must know me. And then I saw Wilco's set, and Wilco's set was great. A lot more laid back than My Morning Jacket, a lot more chill, so that caused a lot more people to chill back and, listen to Wilco, and then occasionally stand up when they would play those really energetic, straight-ahead rock songs, like Can't Stand It, and I Got You, and the quirky opener, the exciting-sounding opener of The Whole Love, their most recent album, Art of Almost. It starts out as more of an electronic sort of groove, and then eventually it starts to build up, and then at the end there's this screaming guitar jam coming from Nels Cline, because Nels Cline, even though he may not be one of the first members of the band, he still is a very, very top-notch guitar player, so I feel like even with Jay Bennett, even though Jay Bennett died sadly a few years ago, and even though he couldn't play in the band anymore, I think Nels Cline did quite a big replacement. So I have a feeling that both of those bands, My Morning Jacket and Wilco, they sound great on the old stuff, but I will admit that they probably sound the best live with their new lineup. With Jacket's new guitarist, Carl Bromwell, who's also playing pedal steel guitar and saxophone and a lot of stuff, which I think is really cool. And Bo Coster, who plays keyboards, who added definitely a much bigger keyboard sound to the band. Like on Z, if you look back on a song like Wordless Chorus, you'll hear, some, more prominent keys than you would on earlier stuff like Tennessee Fire, At Dawn, and It Still Moves. Yeah, you heard less keyboards and more like acoustic and electric guitars, a little bit of slides here and there, and this, really just natural reverb on Jim Jameson's voice, which I think really does make My Morning Jacket in my opinion. It isn't really the synthetic, reverb that sounds that sounds so echoey. It's just the reverb that sounds as if, sounds more like an underground cave sort of reverb. And I think Wilco's definitely sounded great live, like with Glenn Coche, being such a great drummer, even after Ken Coomer leaving the band. Like Ken was a great drummer. Um, and there's guitarist Nels Klein, which I already talked about. Multi-instrumentalist Pat Sansone, who's just incredibly talented, and I think he has a distinctive voice, like when he's singing backing vocals with John. And he plays a lot of stuff, like he plays guitar, keyboards, piano, tambourine, and maracas, and he has a lot of instruments on his station, um, and the keyboards are definitely much bigger for them, especially on Whole Love, with this new keyboard player, Mikkel Jorgensen, who plays the piano, the organ, the synthesizer, and has a bunch of different samples and sound manipulation. He started out just doing those on the Yankee Hotel Foxtrot tour, but eventually on the tour for Ghost is Born, which was the first tour with the new lineup, he started, being more of a keyboard player, even though he still had a little bit of sound manipulation going on, and a little bit of, sampled sounds. So, and Bob Dylan was the headlining act at the show, but believe it or not, Bob Dylan fans, I actually didn't really stay for that because I was tired and, I wanted to go home, apparently because I was there for my morning jacket. Besides, definitely a lot of people there definitely felt the same as I did, went for jacket and, chilled out during Wilco and, just, decided whether or not they wanted to stay for Bob Dylan. This is dependent on how tired they were, so I was sort of on that side. So Dr. Dog is definitely like a band that's very casual when you hang out with them. Like, they're partially new friends to me, but they treat me like old friends. They treat me like I've known them forever. Like, they treat me like I've known them a few years from now. Years before. Which every time I listen to the band, just makes me wish I heard of them earlier, because, they're such a talented band, and they're just so addictive, and they're a band that you're always going to want to keep an eye out for tour dates. I was definitely one that just, was waiting, was just, keeping an eye out for when Dr. Dog had a local date in my area, in, the Baltimore area, so turns out it was in the New Jersey area. The guys were all like, hang out. He kept offering us, water, Gatorade, and, a lot of snacks, and then there was this little room, and they had a dinner buffet, which was basically to feed all the bands, playing there. So, there were ribeye steaks and some baked salmon, along with some mashed potatoes and some corn and salad and some dinner rolls, and lots of different fruits and lots of different desserts, lots of different pies and cakes that were at the buffet for dessert. So we basically, me and my parents sat at a table with Zach Miller, the keyboardist for Dr. Dog, who was obviously emailing us and, calling Mom on the phone one day, and on the day before the show, and even though I didn't really get to talk to him on the phone, because I didn't really get to talk to him until I met the full band. I think I definitely got excited once I heard Mom was having a phone conversation with him the night before the concert. Took a few pictures, and I was in a circle with pretty much all the members of Dr. Dog. Dog, and like, what's cool is that, another thing that happened that was cool is that Scott sent me a few Dr. Dog goodies, which I don't really feel like I have to show in here, but I got a Dr. Dog beanie. I actually have two, because one was sent to me by Auntie, other one sent to me by Scott. I also got Dr. Dog sunglasses, a Dr. Dog stencil, which had Mickey Mouse on it. Because I think the cool thing is, me and Dr. Dog, we share a lot of things in common. Like, we like My Morning Jacket and Wilco and, you know, lots of stuff like that. And plus, we all like, Disney, too. Like, so they try to put Mickey Mouse on everything, which I think is creative of them to do that. So I think, you know, if Walt Disney was still alive today, I think he would really appreciate what Dr. Dog is doing, you know, putting Mickey Mouse on everything, like guitar straps and stuff like that. And I think the coolest thing that Scott sent me, though, is one of his guitars that he used to play for well over 10 years, called a Strum Machine. He called it the Strum Machine. You know, it's got, you know, some orange tape on it and the word Strum Machine written on it. So, and the guys, they all signed the guitar, and, you know, and I'm happy that I have it now that, like, I own it, because I feel like I have, like, a brand new guitar now. So, and I want to talk, and, you know, Dr. Dog is just, you know, so much fun, and, you know, just, you know, so plain awesome, and just, you know, and it's just, all their albums sound great. I ended up getting their full discography here. I have Toothbrush here. This is a Park the Van reissue, actually. This is, like, Dr. Dog's first album that was, like, available in physical copies. Psychedelic Swamp was their first album, but it didn't make it because it wasn't really a Dr. Dog album, as I heard in one interview. Toothbrush is a great album. Despite the annoying buzzing and the recording in the background, I think the music on it is definitely great. It just takes me to such a magical place. Like I'm sleeping under the stars or something like that. And then, this is Easy Beat, and Dr. Dog, as you can see, all the members of Dr. Dog signed this copy for me, because I took it with me on my vacation, because, you know, I need a lot of music on my vacations. So, we found this to sign, so as you can see, there's all their signatures. And, there's the tracks, there's, the credits, and this is the first time they used 8 tracks, so no buzzing on the recording, thank God. There's all the lyrics, and what's amazing is that I never knew someone could fit that many words on a piece of paper. But Scott told me what happened is that he wrote them all down on a piece of paper, and then he put it into a copying machine, and, minimized it, to fit it in the album packaging. Like, genius of him to do something like that. Here's We All Belong. I love the album art on this. Literally, I do. And I've listened to this a few days ago. Very addictive record. Looks like a bunch of things from old magazines, you know, just taped onto here. Songs here. And they use 24 track on this thing, so no buzzing whatsoever on it. Which I think is good, because, you know, I like albums that just have clear recording quality and don't have any buzzing in the background and sound like it's being played underwater or anything like that. So, like, there's the inside credits, and there's a big poster in here, which I can't fit in the album case, unfortunately, but it's cool that I still have it in here. You know, gotta have some work showing this big thing to you. Like George Washington's head is on there, as Scott told me, and then there's the lyrics. And then here's Fate, which is one of my all-time favorite Dr. Dog records. I really love songs like The Breeze, Hang On, The Old Days, The Rabbit, the Bat, and the Reindeer, From, The Beach, and My Friend, and just definitely a lot of standouts on here. Inside of it, there's a poster that's like a newspaper. I gotta show this side first. There's the guys, looking like railroad workers on here. And on the back, it's like a newspaper, and it has the lyrics for the songs on there. Really cool. And I already showed you guys these two albums, Shame, Shame, and Be the Void. I already showed you the packaging of these two, so I'm not going to do it in here. But I just wanted to show you that I have all their other records, because, you know, I feel like a true fan now that I have all of them. So it's pretty much everything by them except for the EPs, which are Takers and Leavers, and a Wild Race EP, which is so far only available on iTunes and on vinyl. But it would be cool if, you know, if they sent it to me on vinyl. But, you know, I might consider, but who knows, I might consider getting Takers and Leavers sometime soon. Work something out with my parents if they'll allow me to order it off of Amazon or something like that. Because that's where I ordered a lot of these CDs. Except for We All Belong, which I got at FYE because I found it and instantly I knew I wanted it. So here I am, happy that I have a copy. So now I'm going to talk, and Dr. Dog is really cool. Music videos too, like the one for Lonesome is hilarious, I will admit. Like, as Scott told me, Dr. Dog, you know, was getting rounded up by Toby. Like, everybody minus Toby was like getting rounded up by Toby, who is obviously the guy that wrote the song and sang it. It's sort of like the Lennon-McCartney thing. And then they're in a room, and Toby starts throwing Coca-Cola, eggs, and flour, and, like, you know, there's lots of water guns, and, like, this odd, like, spray paint thing. So, this is definitely something that would be otherwise illegal if you did it to someone when you didn't mean to. Like, it would be pretty innocent otherwise, but you know, Dr. Dog did it in a music video, and, you know, they were just doing it for fun. They weren't doing it for money or anything like that, which I think is good. Because, you know, there's some music videos out there that are good today, and then others that are just, you know, too, like, low budget, and you know, just look too murky for me. But Dr. Dog's music videos are definitely very, very creative, and, like, the video for Shadow People, where they're in the skating zone with all the couples skating and balloons falling everywhere at the end, I think looks really fun and really matches the dynamic of that song very well with the way it builds up. It's just Scott with a nifty looking guitar, the lights come up, and then there's couples skating all around, and then there's the rest of the members of the band. And it's in as Scott says, it's in a place. It's in a skating zone that's like somewhere in Philly. So it looks very realistic, you know, looks like, you know, you're really in the skating zone, like, you know, watching the band play, you know, sing all these couples skating thing in there. and as well as the animated music video they did for My Old Ways, which had them in like prison cells, and just I think just the quirkiness of that definitely fit along with the psychedelic music video for The Ark, which definitely that's a music video that takes its time to make sense for sure. Like, at first when you see the video, you don't really know what's going on, but then as you watch it more, you sort of get what's going on. Since psychedelic music videos are definitely those ones that take their time to grow on you. Like at first you're a bit like, huh, on the first listen, on the first watch, but then you're watching it more and you're seeing, oh, I see what's happening. So I think it matches the psychedelicness of the song too, since there's all these sound effects in the background of it that just sound so cool. You could either say they sound unnecessary or just thrown in there or forced without any plans about it, but I must say they definitely work in my opinion. So Dr. Dog has really cool music videos. Hope they keep making great music and just directing those, just those creative music videos, because they're the kind of music videos that you can easily appreciate no matter which one you're watching. So Dr. Dog's set, they played a lot of stuff from Be the Void, and they played a couple of songs from Fates, which happened to be two of the best songs on the album, Hang On and The Beach. And they also played a cover for Architecture in Helsinki's song Heart It Races, which I'm pretty sure all you Dr. Dog fans have heard of that cover. This is so far the one cover I can think of that's actually better than the original. The original is a bit weird. Like, the vocals on that are a bit too whiny and a bit too obnoxious. But I have a feeling that Dr. Dog's version definitely is just, perfection. No whiny voices, just sweet, harmonies that are just, very, very, soft and some catchy guitar riffs in there too. Like, I really like the organ in that song too, in the background. I think it sounds very, very cool. And they played a few new songs. The first song released from the album, The Truth, which I reviewed at the beginning of this video. Awesome song. Thank you, Dr. Dog, for, just making me proud of you for this. They played a chug-along, just this fun song to sing and dance to called Distant Light, which I originally thought it was a song called Twisting or something like that, but then I found out that it was Distant Light, and, I see what he was really, saying, but I remember hearing it and just, loving it, so I can't wait to hear the studio version of it that's going to be on the record. And they played a joyous, sort of more 60s Beatles-esque sort of song. It really does sound like their older stuff called Love. That's Scott's song, along with The Truth. Distant Light is Toby's song. Love is definitely a really cool song, so I bet the studio version of that